Oh, we got time. Good morning. We're just waiting on Councilor Kelly. I know she's getting her stuff. Good to see everybody. Now that the legislature's in session, all the action is at that end of the hall. So there's a little more room to breathe in here, which is nice. But we just want to welcome everybody to the Governor and Council meeting. As everybody knows, this is a public meeting, which is great. So feel free to keep your phones on if you want to take pictures, but if you could at least put them into silent mode, as we'll have discussions with all the different councilors, the councilors and the commissioners as the meeting goes on. It's a new year, huh? 2020. Is everyone still writing the right 20, or anyone writing 19 on their checks? I still do that. I still write like 2019 for the next 6 weeks. I'm very bad about getting my mind where it needs to be sometimes in terms of the date. Okay, so I guess with that, Councilor Gatsis, you want to kick us off with a reading and a pledge?
Sure. I have a reading here from Reverend David P. Jones. He was the chaplain in the Senate. And he always used to come in at every session with some inspiring remarks, and I have one here that was from January 4th, 2006, and I quote, "You're an incredibly gifted and privileged group of people. Let me remind you today, as you enter phase 2 of this session, of 3 important gifts you have and need to use well over the coming months. First, there are your convictions. They are the root of the system of your leadership. Let them be firm, but not brittle. You are called to lead us, not follow us. Let those roots go deep, but let your branches sway, so as not to break off. Second, there is your perception. It is the seedbed of your wisdom. Reserve your most careful attentiveness and reflection for those who differ from you. Listen, perceive, and learn, then act boldly. Third is that sense of deep, authentic respect, which you are invited to show to your colleagues and to yourself. The effectiveness you show in using this gift of respect is what will illuminate the voters' wisdom, or lack thereof, in choosing you." Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilor. Sure.
So today we have Toll House cookies to celebrate the removal of the tolls at exit 11.
Now I have to have it.
But you didn't bring any milk.
Well, I was going to bring champagne, but I thought, better have my wits about me.
Thank you very much. I hear there were fireworks all week in Merrimack to celebrate. Great. So this morning, unfortunately, we usually kick things off with a little music, and unfortunately, our musician got sick and let us know late last night that she wasn't going to be able to come. So we'll definitely bring her back at another meeting. But we do have a proclamation we want to really celebrate today, and it's kind of a nice opportunity that council gets to recognize whether it's folks within government or nonprofits or just individuals across the state that continually do great things. And today we want to highlight the success of the Big Brother Big Sister program in New Hampshire. So we have Stacy. When you want to come on up.
Sure. Nancy and Brianna are here as well, our big sister and little sister, if you want to come on up as well.
Hi, how are you? So what we're really kicking off and proclaiming, because we always want to proclaim with a purpose, is Big Brother Big Sister Mentoring Month, which we're celebrating for the entire month of January 2020. And as a lot of folks know, I get involved with a lot of nonprofits. On the last year or so, maybe a little more, I started getting much more involved, really, frankly, with Big Brothers Big Sisters. An organization a lot of us, just from my own personal story, and then I'll kick it to Stacy, but you hear about it your whole life, right? But didn't really know a whole lot about what was happening in New Hampshire and some of the folks that were involved. And I bumped into somebody at an event at a hockey game, I think it was, the Monarchs game, and they invited me to come, and we came and we sat down, and They have this great annual gala every year, and when you hear those stories, some of these individual stories, they're just so awesome. They are really awesome because it's like we talk about a lot in the state. Organizations are great, but it's all about the individual, right? And this is an organization that from day one, from their inception, has been all about providing that one-on-one, individualized opportunity for some of these young men and women and kids all across the state and the country. And they just continue to do great work, so we just wanted to bring them up and highlight the great work of the organization, make sure folks know how to get involved with the program throughout the month of January.
Yes, thank you so much, Governor. I just wanted to say a few words and thank you so much for highlighting Big Brothers Big Sisters of New Hampshire and National Mentoring Month. We've been providing one-to-one mentoring for youth in the Granite State for over 54 years now, and a couple of our priorities this year are around our workplace mentoring initiative, where we have youth bused from school to a business, a workplace that partners with us and really helps with workforce development in New Hampshire. Hint, hint. So we'd like to really focus on that priority this year, as well as our Bigs and Badges program. We have launched a Bigs and Badges program in both with Dover PD and Guilford PD in New Hampshire, and we're looking to match more children with law enforcement officers throughout the state. So we thank you so much for this opportunity, and don't take my word for it, but mentoring works. And I'd like to introduce Sandy and Brianna here, who have been matched for almost a year, just to say a few words to you today.
How are you?
Hi, thank you for having us. In my 30-plus years working in education with kindergartners right up through graduate-level students in college, there was no more powerful intervention than mentoring. The research is absolutely clear. Nothing develops resiliency in at-risk and youth who are not at risk as much as mentoring does. It really is the difference between success and failure for many, many students. It's been my honor to be paired up with Bree, who is an amazing young woman who's overcome incredible odds that most of us never have to face. She's a wonderful, strong, compassionate young woman who has the potential to really make a difference in this world, and it's my honor to be able to work with her.
My name's Brianna. I think the Big Brother Big Sister program has helped me and many of the kids that I know a lot, and I couldn't have asked for a better match. Me and Sandy get along so well, and I've had so many great conversations, and I've done so much with her. For example, last weekend I went and saw the Nutcracker for my first time, and it's absolutely amazing. And I think, you know, me and her have just been, it's been great for me, and I really appreciate it, and it's helped me a lot. Thank you.
Great, thank you. One of the things, I'm going to keep going a little bit, if you don't mind. One of the things I found amazing about the program is that I was the time commitment. It's not overbearing. It's manageable for so many folks.
4 hours a month.
4 hours a month. And so I think a lot of people in my head was like, gee, you know, is it like every day? How does it work? But it's you know, a minimum of 4 hours a month, and so many folks are doing so much more than that, which is great. But it's really just providing that outlet a little bit, that opportunity for some of these folks, not necessarily on a daily basis. You can do it as, I guess, as much as the schedule would permit. The other thing I wanted to, and so it's very easy, so we want to encourage more people to jump on board. The other thing I wanted to highlight, there are companies that are doing it company-wide, and the example that, the great example in the state is really Howard.
Yes.
What Howard Brodsky is doing at CCA, the fact that he has, he'll bring like a busload of kids come in, you should see it. Like all of a sudden they just all show up, and all the kids all have a mentor within the company, and the company designates, you know, a certain time of the week or whatever it is.
Depends on the company,
Yeah.
what they want to set
Yeah,
up.
it's very flexible,
Yeah.
but the fact that all these kids come in and so many people within the company, all the employees participate as mentors kind of at the same time. They do group things together, they do individual things as well, so a lot of companies are getting on board.
Yeah, we just had Exeter Hospital sign on, and they have a workplace mentoring site. And we also have Northeast Delta Dental, also has kids bussed over to their company and meet with their big brother or big sister there.
That's great. And so if somebody wants to get involved, how do they do it?
Yes, they can go to our website at bbbsnh.org, And you can sign up to be a volunteer, you can donate, we do all our own local fundraising every year so that we can keep no cost to families to sign up or bigs to sign up. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Okay, so we do have an official proclamation.
Governor?
Oh, yes, sorry. Where are
The
we?
founder of Big Brothers Big Sisters
Yes?
was a former mayor of Manchester, Emil Boley.
That's right. That's right. So we have great roots into the program. A proclamation recognizing Big Brothers Big Sisters Mentoring Month, January 2020. Whereas everyone remembers someone special, a neighbor, teacher, relative, or friend who broadened our horizons and brought purpose to our lives. And whereas these special individuals singled us out and volunteered their time to help us become engaged and stay on the right track to success. And whereas every adult has something to offer a child, and every child has something to offer our community. And whereas research has shown that children engaged in healthy, safe, one-on-one mentoring relationships are more likely to reach their fullest potential by staying in school and avoiding risky behaviors. And whereas our state embraces the concept of engaging volunteers to mentor children with promise in our community, and whereas all persons, business, public and private agencies, and religious and educational institutions should be encouraged to support mentoring and give young people in our state the gift of time and friendship through the Big Brothers Big Sisters of New Hampshire program. Now, therefore, I, Christopher T. Sununu, Governor of the State of New Hampshire, do hereby proclaim January 2020 as Big Brothers Big Sisters Mentoring Month in the State of New Hampshire and call this to the attention of all of its citizens. Thank you so much. Now we'll bring the council as well. Great. Would the council like to join us up here?
Picture, yeah. Oh, we have to get a picture of the principal. Hi.
Everyone right here? Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm in 8th grade.
Morning, happy New Year. I already said it to you.
I'm sure.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
It was the last one, yeah. Sorry. That. Okay, so moving forward, I call this meeting of the Governor and Executive Council to order. I begin by asking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the December 18th, 2019 council meeting.
So moved.
Any discussion or changes to be made to those meeting minutes? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. Next, from the Office of the Secretary of State, we have our civil commissions. Could I please have a motion to confirm the list of civil commissions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the list of civil commissions, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none opposed, the list is confirmed and approved. Are there any changes or nominations to place on the list of civil commissions? Seeing none, the matter of civil commissions is concluded. We have some resignations to accept today. From the Adult Parole Board, could I please have a motion to accept the resignation of Harry Spallows of Nashua?
Yes. So moved.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And, Henry's resignation is accepted. Excuse me. From the Board of Licensure of Interpreters for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, could I please have a motion to accept the resignation of Tom Minch of Newmarket?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Minch's Resignation is accepted. As the Deputy Director for the Division of Motor Vehicles, can I please have a motion to accept the resignation of William Joseph O'Driscoll?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resignation is accepted. As the Executive Director of the Office of Professional Licensure and Certification, can I please have a motion to accept the resignation of David Grosso of New Boston?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? It's been on a little less than a year. Yeah. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resignation is accepted. From the State Board of Fire Control, can I please have a motion to accept the resignation of Daniel Andrus above?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Daniel's resignation is accepted. That concludes our resignations. We have some confirmations to approve today. Could I please have a motion to confirm Eric Anderson of Portsmouth to the Advisory Committee on Marine Fisheries?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And Eric is confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Mark Lambert of Laconia to the Air Resources Council?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on Mark? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Lambert's confirmation is approved. Can I please have a motion to confirm Janet Stevens of Rye to the Board of Mental Health Practice?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion to confirm James Gray of Derry to the Board of Home Inspectors?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And Mr. Gray is confirmed. Can I please have a motion to confirm Tyler Eaton of Nottingham to the Community College System of New Hampshire Board of Trustees?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Tyler's confirmed. Can I please have a motion to confirm Susan Bryant Kimball of Sandwich to the Current Youth Advisory Board?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Susan is confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Lori Harnoy of Epsom as the Director of the Division of Travel and Tourism Development for the New Hampshire Department of Business and Economic Affairs?
So moved.
Second.
I think we're going to have to shorten that for the business card. That's a pretty long title. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Lori is confirmed. Back from New Hampshire, that's great. Can I please have a motion to confirm Michael Donahue of Newington to the Division of Ports and Harbors Advisory Council?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Michael Donahue is confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Mary Sargent of Nashua to the Family Mediator Certification Board?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mary is confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Mark Petrozzi of Guilford to the Passenger Tramway Safety Board?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Petrozzi is confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Brian Heon of North Conway to the Passenger Tramway Safety Board?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Question? Yes.
Mr. Heon is succeeding Mr. Petrozzi, who we just confirmed in the...
Yes. In the last meeting, Mr. Petrozzi, he's taking a different, he's staying on the board, but under a different position technically. So,
Oh, one's insurance and one's...
It's who's making the nomination.
Yeah.
But everybody wanted Mark to stay on the board, but perfect. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And Brian's from Rockwood. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Brian's confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Gail Wilson of Deerfield, the Personnel Appeals Board?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wilson is confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Timothy Emperor of Stark to the Nash Stream 4 Citizens Committee?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We did Gail, and sorry, we did Brian, Gail, and Tim. Did you have another one? Sorry. Hey, Jonathan? Are we missing one?
So, Jeff, due to the conflict of interest with his employer, has to be
Who are we talking about?
Jeffrey Kelford.
Oh, there's the Kelpros. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. And he was the only one for this week, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. I should have stated that in the beginning. Jeffrey Kelpros has removed his nomination. Asked to his nomination. I apologize. Good catch. So further, any discussion on Tim Emperor of Stark? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Emperor is confirmed. Can I please have a motion to confirm Richard Cook of Warner to the New Hampshire Land and Community Heritage Authority Board of Directors?
So moved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Cook is confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Kelly Boyer of Goffstown to the Volunteer New Hampshire Board of Directors?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This board, Kelly's confirmed. Could I please have a motion to confirm Philip Crosdale of Manchester to the Water Council?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Crosdale is confirmed. A few nominations to read into the record. To the Advisory Board on Private Investigative Agencies, Bail Recovery Agents, and Security Services, I nominate Quentin Etsy, Peterborough, Anthony Raymond of Holderness, Richard Darling of Milford, David Place of Amherst, and Vincent Fiattetti of Gilmanton. To the Advisory Council on Unemployment Compensation, I nominate Matt Kafori of Manchester. As the Deputy Chief Medical Examiner of the New Hampshire Department of Justice, I nominate Mitchell Weinberg of Edmonton, Canada. As the Division of Motor Vehicles, as the Deputy Director of the Division of Motor Vehicles, I nominate Michael Todd of Concord. And that concludes the nominations for today's meeting. Moving on to the consent calendar agenda. I ask for motion to adopt the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second. Is there any discussion on any of these items, or do councilors wish to remove any items for discussion purposes? Seeing no requests, all in favor of the consent calendar agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent calendar is approved. Moving on to our regular agenda. Now ask for motion to adopt agenda item 6 from the Department of Health and Human Services from the Division of Public Health Services.
So moved. Seconded.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And so ends the shortest Health and Human Services Executive Council visit. Wow. The item is approved.
Won't be next time.
Now ask for motion to adopt agenda items 7 through 22 from the Department of Transportation.
So moved. Seconded.
Any discussion? Councilor Gatsas, is the commission, is someone from DOT here? Oh, good morning, Commissioner. Is the commissioner cookie? I think if anyone deserves a cookie, other than the council itself, it's probably the commissioner.
I'll take one after.
Okay. It'll earn it.
Question.
So for the record, Victoria Sheehan, Commissioner of the Department of Transportation. Good morning, Governor. Good morning, Councilors. Happy New Year.
Helping you. Question I have is, at the last meeting, at the end of the meeting, you had already left, and I was asking, I don't know if it was relayed to you or not, but a list of shovel-ready projects in case federal dollars come flowing in, and I'm sure that that's going to be something that will be seen in the very near future. So I was wondering if you could get a list of those shovel-ready projects, and not just roads, but bridges, to the council so that we can see them.
So we don't necessarily have a list of shovel-ready projects. What we try to do is have projects ready on shelf. So I think we've explained this previously about we have our 10-year plan process. So usually we don't just focus our efforts on designing the projects that are approved in the first year of the 10-year plan. We work on the projects in the first several years and try to get those through the design process so they would be essentially shovel-ready. And that way, if there is additional revenue available, we can quickly advance those projects. So it's really looking at the second and third year of the 10-year plan that gives you a sense of what work can be brought forward. And as money becomes available, we look specifically at the projects in those years, the color of the money, and what's eligible, and then we try to pull them forward. So it very much depends on the type of federal funding that's going to be made available and what categories it is in. But we always respect the priorities set in the 10-year plan. So we could pull in from year 2 and 3 and then move those up into year 1 if there was more money. So it depends very much on the type of funding.
Councilor Valinsky?
Thank you. As GASA chair, I'm trying to remember the governor's date for transmittal of the 10-year plans next week or so.
January 15th.
Could you just make sure the council gets a copy of that when it's ready?
Happy to.
And while we're on that subject, Governor, are we going to take a vote today as a council on changing the exit numbers?
That would be something you would have to do as a body, not as part of this, but you can. That's part of it. That's the
I just thought I'd bring it up so that...
Yeah, you guys can discuss it. That's a gas. Again, I've held off presenting my final version to the legislature, until as I promised, if there's something you want to do as a body and inform us of whatever you do, that's fine, but we can't do that as part of this meeting. So.
Next, a question to follow on that. Is there, I'm looking to the Commissioner and maybe the Attorney General, do we need to notice that kind of discussion on behalf of GASIC? Whether we should, in essence, what you're talking about is an amendment to what we transmitted, so that you deal with the exit number.
I think the Transmission Council, the exit numbers were in the 10-year plan,
right,
which we never talked about.
Right, so you're talking about having a discussion about amending the plan in order to change that.
We're hopefully sending a letter to the governor so that he can pull it out.
Either way, but that would be an act of GASIT. And so in order for GASIT to meet, to have the discussion that Councilor Gatsas wants to have, which I'm happy with the discussion, we, I assume, have a notice requirement? You're shaking your head, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a separate body, it's distinct from this body.
Right. So I would ask that we look at our calendars after this meeting breaks, figure out a time and then notice it.
Well, so even if I could just, again, I don't want to step on your business, but even if they were just to do a letter, do they have to notice that?
Well, they would be deliberating.
They'd be deliberating.
Maybe talking about it.
So I have to send this to the legislature like soon, so that's why I was trying to get to this date. I don't know if we can go much further here.
We might have to write the letter to the legislature instead of writing it to you, or you and the legislature. Either is fine with me. But
yeah, that's fine. But I mean, I just have an obligation. I have to send it.
Yeah, don't hold for us.
If I may, we were reviewing the statute, and I believe that because you have transmitted your version of the 10-year plan to the governor, we essentially consider the GASIT phase complete. But certainly, as executive counselors, if you wanted to draft individual letters to the governor asking him to consider removing the plan, that might be appropriate. And we do have additional information on the exit renumbering requirement and how this issue has evolved over time. If that would be helpful background, to be able to send that to you individually. But I do concur, any action that you would want to take as a body would require deliberation and therefore would have to be a notice meeting.
So why don't we do this? Why don't you send each of the counselors as counselors that additional information, and then we don't need to meet and deliberate. Each of us can send or not send a letter, I guess, to the governor, the president, and the speaker. Does that sound appropriate?
Or we can wait till Liz comes out and see if he took them out of his plan.
I'm going to take them out regardless, but however you guys want to do it.
Yeah, if you just want to weigh in, is all I'm trying to accommodate is the interest to weigh in on the topic. And so that sounds like the way to do it, but I'd love to see the additional materials regardless. Okay, thank you.
Would it be fair to ask if you could tell us what exits are not additional?
So we have not done any work.
No, I mean, I have no idea what.
So this would be renumbering the exits on the interstates and the major divided highways. And changing the exit numbers to align with the mile marker. And so we have a sense of what the exit numbers would be, but we haven't done all of that work to map them exactly. That's part of why we introduced this project into the 10-year plan. This is a federal requirement, and we would want to be able to have a public process and vet whether or not this is the right thing for New Hampshire to do if the department was going to be moving forward with the project. And as you all know, we don't work on any effort unless it's an approved project in the 10-year plan. And so when we introduced it, it was to start a conversation and start a public process that we would look at how it would impact each corridor and what the changes might be.
So would it take a lot of work if you assign someone in the DOT to look at each
So we could do that pretty quickly and look at what the changes would be.
Did you do that? Did you have someone do that?
And some of the other states have done interactive maps, so people can see what the current exit number is and what the proposed exit number might be. We could easily do things like that as well as we move the project forward. But we'll see what we can pull together in short order.
And if I may, we're talking about...
I don't really need to know what the new number is. I just was wondering.
95, 93, 89,
93,
89. Through it, but
One of them.
if you said exit, let's just take exit 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 29, and then I go back to my district.
So it would be all the corridors. We wouldn't do this piecemeal, you do it corridor by corridor.
It's just in case somebody calls. It says it's mine.
Sure.
Your district, was it? Yours.
Further discussion on any of these DOT items? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of items 7 through 22, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You're in the cookie. There you go. All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner. The items are approved. I now ask for a motion to adopt agenda items 23 and 24 from the Office of Professional Licensure and Certification. Any discussion on items 23 or 24? Councilor Frank?
Question to you.
Oh, yes. Sure.
The resignations,
Yes.
do they have someone who steps in?
Yes. Yep, so there's a second, who officially steps in? There's somebody that steps in. I don't know if it's the executive director. I don't know if it's the executive director or not. We'll get that information. Good question. So I think we had a motion and a second. So all in favor of item 24, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The items are approved. I now ask for a motion. Agenda item 25 from the New Hampshire Council on Developmental Disabilities.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 25 is approved. I now ask for motion to adopt agenda item 26 from the Department of Agriculture, Markets and Food.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 26 is approved. I now ask for motion to adopt agenda item 27 from the Department of Military Affairs and Veteran Services.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry, item 27 is approved. I now ask for motion to adopt agenda item 28 from New Hampshire Employment Security.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 28 is approved. Good to see you, Commissioner. Good luck to the Cowboys in the playoffs. Oh. I was throwing you the softball. I was giving you the softball. Moving on to now ask for motion to adopt agenda items 29, 30, and 31 from the Department of Corrections.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items are approved. I now ask for a motion to adopt agenda item 32 from the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The item is approved. I now ask for a motion to adopt agenda items 33 and 34 from the New Hampshire Department of Natural and Cultural Resources.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items 33 and 34 are approved. I now ask for motion to adopt agenda items 35 through 51 from the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services.
So moved.
Any discussion? Is everyone- Councilor Pignatelli? Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning,
How are you?
Morning, councilors. Yes, ma'am.
So I have
I'm
questions for
sorry, for
them.
the record, Bob Scott with the Department of Environmental Services.
Yes. So items 46, 47, 48, and 50.
Is there anything?
So it's my job once again to introduce Mr. Randy Pelletier. So I assume two of these have to do with, they're both Alton, one is Little Mark Island, and one is on the,
The only one I'm excluding is the Rye Harbor and Rye.
Right.
So the
So
other four.
two of these relate to boathouses, if I'm anticipating your question. Would I be doing that correctly? Yes. And Randy has the details.
Yeah, I know Randy always does. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, Governor, councils.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. By the way, cookies are mighty tasty.
Thank you.
The two ones involving the breakwaters, one of them is an amendment, and which is rather unique. The boathouse was permitted in 2017. They built a breakwater to protect the entry to the boat. They actually built it 12 feet shorter than the permit granted for the breakwater. So they're in the business of, I think they're getting ready to sell the property, so they wanted to make sure that the permits were up to date. So this is basically an as-built plan showing that instead of 62 feet, the breakwater's 50, which is rather unique when people come into us and make changes, but they're trying to solve it. And the other one is a breakwater. They had an 11-foot break in the breakwater to protect the boathouse and the dock, and they're bringing it closer to shore because ice was getting behind the breakwater and starting to disrupt and peel parts of the breakwater off. So that's what that extension is.
Which two are those? Which numbers are those, Randy?
The 46
48.
and 48.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Help yourself to it. We're celebrating the removal of the tolls in Merrimack.
Are these Toll House cookies?
These are Toll House
Toll House,
cookies,
yeah,
yes.
you might have.
speak for any further questions on any of these items? Thank you, Commissioner. Seeing none, all in favor of items 35 through 50, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, I'm sorry.
I am opposed to items 46 and 48.
No on 46, no on 48. Thank you, Council. With that, the items are approved. I now ask for a motion on agenda items 52 through 55 from the Department of Education.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on any of these items? Council Belinsky and Council Grant. So, Council Belinsky. Good morning, Commissioner.
How are you? How are you? For the record, Frank Davidwood, Commissioner of Education.
Good morning, Commissioner. 52, that's the student wellness grant that we're receiving. Student wellness obviously is very important. I think avoiding suicide, opioid. When I read the materials, it looks like the regional work will be for 5 to 8 schools per year.
Okay.
I'm just quoting.
Yeah.
And there are just about 80 schools.
Right.
So that would suggest that we're not going to get to all the schools with this grant money for a decade.
Yeah.
Is there more money somewhere?
So there's a couple of programs. So first of all, this is a continuation of a program that we started with the school climate transformation grants, and we started up in the North Country.
Right.
This is the one that's going to allow us to then work in the southern tier.
Yeah.
So when we go after those 5 to 8 schools, those are the specific schools that will have people on the ground. Because basically what we're doing is we're hiring kind of coordination transition folks that are going to organize in those 5 to 8 schools. But the work that we do there allows us to then spread to other domains and other schools. And as one community sets up these kinds of systems, they're able to learn from the work that those communities have done, and it spreads to the other communities. We have applied for additional grants to see if we can get additional work done in this area. So.
Is there state money that we've sought from the legislature to make this spread more quickly?
There was not in the last budget cycle.
Did we ask?
I don't think so.
Do you know how the 5 to 8 a year are being chosen, or what the priority is?
I don't know the specific criteria for how they were selected, but I think it was a needs-based approach in terms of trying to understand where we think that the highest risks are.
So we identify the first year's work?
I think we have, yeah. I can get those here.
Yeah, that's fine. I have questions about another item too.
Okay.
But that's it on this one. I don't know if others have questions.
Do you have any questions?
Could you get that to us?
I can as well. I can provide you with the report. Yep, because we have an evaluator for the grant, and we publish that information. Happy to send that to you.
Separate item 55. 55 is the dual enrollment.
Yes.
So essentially, we're going to provide $1 million a year to the community college system for 6 years for dual enrollment. High school kids getting community college credits. And community college cuts its rate in half to do that.
Correct.
Have we looked at the financial implications for the community college system of that 50% rate cut and how it's distributed over the various colleges? Is there anything?
So it would depend on where the courses are actually taken.
Yeah.
And so in terms of looking at the specifics for the individual colleges, I have not done that. That may be something that the college has looked at through the budgetary process. When we actually passed the legislation associated with this, there was quite a bit of conversation among the department as well as the community college in terms of understanding what the implications are. And you'll notice that one of the things, you've already approved this, but this was a modification that we put in because the law allowed the college to be able to recoup a higher percentage or a higher rate if their cost structure changed. So this gave them that flexibility.
Is there a particular person in the community college system I should reach out to try and get this?
I can get that for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
It'll probably be Charles. I'll just make sure.
Further discussion on any of these items? Great. Seeing no further discussions, thank you, Commissioner. All in favor of items 52 through 55, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The items are approved. I now ask for motion to adopt agenda item 56 from the New Hampshire Lottery Commission.
So moved. Second. discussion.
Any discussion? We do have a question. Is anyone from the lottery here? Oh. Morning, sir.
Morning, members of council. Charlie McIntyre, Lottery.
In the paper, I read that the state in the first week had $3.6 million wagered in the new DraftKings proposal that you brought forward.
Yes, sir.
Was that net?
No, that's gross. That's gross handle.
What was the net handle?
It varies by the day, as you can imagine, Councilor. Saturday was our record day, as you can imagine why.
Was your first Saturday?
It was also Patriots Day, and
Well, there were some losers in that bet.
I'm reluctant to say, sir, but yeah, we did well. Our handle on Saturday was around 18%. So that was our best day. So over the course of the year, it'll bounce up to about 8%.
What does that mean in dollars?
So it's $3 million, it'd be $240,000 in profit.
So we get 51% of that?
Yes.
Less the 15?
No, 15, that's not including 15. So
Built in the 15.
Built in 15, so it's 4% of the gross handle is our, 4% plus 1%. It's 51% of the net.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's week one, so I almost was late because I was waiting to see how many users we had, and we're about to cross 17,000 active users.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's follow up on Councilor Jackson's questions. Do you find it builds over time? Is that how it works?
Yes, sort of Friday, we were seeing a lot of traffic, and then on Saturday and Sunday, we saw significant physical traffic come across the border. Our most wagered places in the state are Portsmouth, Salem, and Nashua. And we can do a heat map of where those locations are, and it's the Pheasant Lane Mall and other physical locations where folks are driving across, betting, and then driving back to Massachusetts. And we're seeing that all across the state. Like there's a Walmart in Hinsdale that has a significant amount of traffic coming from Vermont, and obviously counts in your area. Lebanon and Hanover also significantly higher than expected because of Vermont traffic. And we're seeing the main, like I said, Portsmouth is main folks.
Councilor?
Sure. Can you interpret some type of an annual net gain for the state of New Hampshire's general fund?
Certainly. When we made the estimate...
The Education Trust Fund.
Education Trust Fund, yes, sir. We made the first initial fiscal note. It was $10 million once all the platforms were up and running. The legislature thought it would take us a year to get up and running. We did it in less than 6 months. And the mobile platform only, and this is week one. So it's real early to say. But we're up 6 months, and all these profits now are just gravy to jumbo fund. So we anticipate once everything is up and running, once mobile is established, and once physical sports books are established, and the rest of it, $10 million annual profit for the state.
Further questions on this item or anything else having to do with scratch tickets, Keno? Okay, thank you. See no further discussion, all in favor of item 56, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. No on 56. The item is approved. And now ask for a motion on agendas 57 through 66 from the Department of Safety.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items from the Department of Safety are approved. Moving on, I now ask for a motion to adopt agenda items 67 through 88 from the Department of Justice.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? We have a couple questions. Mr. Attorney General? Morning, sir. Morning.
Morning.
Council Speaker Kelly.
Thank you. General, I noticed that there are a lot of your staff members who aren't going to receive salary raises. As a matter of fact, they already have. Can you tell us why these are retroactive back to July 1st?
The legislature approved the recommended raises effective July 1st, and it's just taken, this is the third of 3 tranches of raises that we have presented to the council. So it's just taking that time to process these individual requests.
It really takes over 6 months to process these requests when
Well,
you know they're coming?
Well, the budget was actually, as we all recall, not finally approved until, I believe, September 27th.
Mhm.
So we didn't start acting on it until the budget was actually approved.
And I have another question as well on item number 69. This is a position for the Office of Chief Medical Examiner. This is going to be he's doing this for a week, right? But didn't we just receive a nomination for him to be the full-time permanent deputy? So he's coming here for a week, and then he's going back, and then coming here and moving here. He's relocating from Edmonton here to serve permanently. He's going to be moving to New Hampshire. He's not just commuting.
That's correct. So the nomination that was placed before you today is of Dr. Weinberg. This follows a very extensive process that we've undertaken, which has literally lasted more than 2 years. The item before you on his locum contract, his temporary contract was submitted on December 19th. We have since been able to reach an agreement with Dr. Weinberg for him to come on a permanent basis. The effect will be to substantially, if not entirely, eliminate these locum requests that have regularly come before the council.
That was my next question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor. Yes.
When does he start?
I believe it's April
April 24th.
Is there a chance we may have a couple more between now and April 24th? Potential?
In terms of these locum contracts?
Yeah, for a week or two.
With him starting on April 24th, I think the answer is no.
Yeah, please.
On number 72, it's just, I think it's just maybe somebody picked up the wrong number. Or I'm just trying to find out. It says here request 100,876, bring in to 1,103. Down here it says moving from 106 to 108. So I'm assuming this is right, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to switch.
Is that Nancy Smith?
No.
From 106 to 108?
Oh, no.
Because I know Nancy's going to. Yeah, where's the from Nancy on this? Oh, really? So those just those do match Nancy's numbers as they are written into the agenda, just as a I don't know if that's a coincidence.
So the requested action is the correct number.
Okay.
The agenda the agenda's wrong. Is that right? This you said sorry.
No, I think
Totally confusing.
Tom Donovan, he's saying it's right. He's saying the explanation is wrong.
The explanation is wrong. Okay, I see.
So the agenda item is correct, the requested action is correct, and I apologize for that mistake.
Great, thank you. Councilor Walensky.
All five. Do you have any chief of staff?
We do. Senior Assistant Attorney General Sean Gill has assumed that position. His prior experience in the office was most immediately directing the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit, and before that he was an appellate attorney in the criminal justice bureau.
Before that, he was in the solicitor's office, I think, in Manchester.
Way.
Yes, good. I think that's how I first met. Okay. Thank you.
Further questions for any of these items? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of items 67 through 88, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items are approved. And now ask for a motion to adopt agenda items 89 through 92 from the Department of Administrative Services.
Second.
Any discussion?
Discussion on something else.
Yes, we have a question for the Commissioner.
The RFP for the health insurance, is that going out?
The RFP for
Health insurance?
the plan that the contract currently held by Anthem? Yes, no.
When you get it prepared, can I see a copy?
I think so. I will take legal advice to make sure, but I think so.
What are you requesting again? I'm requesting a copy of the RFP that is sent out to the company for the health insurance.
You're requesting that prior to it being sent out?
No, when it's sent to them, I'd like to see a copy
But when it's sent to them, you'd like to say, oh, sure, yeah, absolutely.
before they respond.
What I can do is, the day we post it, I'll send you one.
That's
or
fine.
whenever it's ready. I don't know that that's going to be anytime soon.
Whenever it is.
Contract expires end of the calendar year. Absolutely.
The end of 2020.
Yes, end of, yes.
So, I'm not, I don't speak to the department, but I'm guessing 6 to 9 months out, the RFP will go out to get a contract process in place.
So to alert the council to what's going on with that, we have a bunch of things to consider. At the beginning of the year, we went to a Medicare Advantage plan for the over 65 seniors.
Finally.
I don't think finally is the right word.
Really?
Yes. At the time we talked about it, it did not save money. And when we did it, it did save a lot of money.
Okay.
Like almost $20 million. My recollection is that we were spending a heck of a lot less money than the municipality was. But that so we have to decide whether to split the contract or not. Because right now, we were able to do that with Anthem because it was the same contract. So it's not split as one contract, but there's an eligibility for renewal. So the decision we have to make internally is decide whether we want to approach the governor and council about renewing the entire thing, rebidding the entire thing, renewing one piece and not the other. But eventually, I think the department it's sensible for us to eventually split the two. Whether we renew both or not, it's sensible to split the two. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Any further discussion?
The recollection of the amount, you were talking about the amount that the state of New Hampshire paid was, when you did the analysis, was going to the Medicare Part B you mentioned. You've done this recently, and we're saving the state money?
We're saving roughly $12 million in the first year over what our spend would have been. I can get a more complete set of numbers for you, but the total state spend on its health benefit plan, including both the medical side and the prescription side, will be roughly $310 to $15 million this year. Mm-hmm. And so that's a big chunk, but by leveraging federal dollars, we'll save. I think we ended up lapsing from the retiree helpline, for example, something like $16 million. So, which will not happen this year.
Well, not to that level.
Well, technically, literally this year won't happen because it's in the second, but certainly not to that level.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of items 89 through 92, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The items are approved. With that, we have no late items. We have no tabled items. We'll conclude the meeting.
Happy New Year.
Any further?
Governor, are we going to see a nominee for Chief Justice or Justice anytime soon?
For Chief Justice of the Supreme Court? No, I don't expect so.
Nor Justice?
Nor what justice?
Associate, two different.
Are you talking about the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
No, I've made my point on that very clear multiple times to this body.
So we never know.
I didn't say no. As soon as this body decides that politics isn't going to be played in the nomination process, then we can discuss coming forward. But there's been no indication from this body that that won't be considered.
Okay. So
Until then, we're not.
politics with our Supreme Court.
That's fine. Great. Thank you.
So if you could ask me, I didn't even know the insurance commissioner slot was open. That position is
Yeah,
open.
we're currently, we've submitted, there's been folks that have submitted a variety of resumes. We're going through the interview process. If people are interested, they should get something in soon. If you know someone that's interested. Yeah, we're interviewing a variety of different people for this position. Okay, with that, we'll conclude the meeting. Great. Thank you.